Hello there, this is James as Crafty 1978, and yesterday I watched the first 14 episodes of the new action anime Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, or to translate it more appropriately, Attack on the Titans. What can I say, the Japanese often simply assume that something is plural, but either way though, as always, the link to the series is listed down at the underbar. And why have I only watched the first 14 episodes? Quite simply because the rest of the series has yet to be released. It's still ongoing, so although it's absolutely true that I cannot give a full informed opinion of the entire series until it's over, meaning that in reality this is little more than a first impressions video, my opinion of what I've seen so far is a resounding Because at the risk of offending my friends who describe it as the greatest anime ever made and have talked about their panties flying off because it's so spectacularly awesome, when all is said and done, it's a standard retelling of the zombie apocalypse storyline, with the twist here being that in this case, the zombies are dead and are anywhere between 3 and 60 meters tall. In what I can only describe as a Tudor-punk alternative version of Earth, i.e., while steampunk is a fictional Victorian world with some advanced technology, clothing and attitudes, the world in which this series is set looks like England in the 16th century with some modern technology and clothing and 21st century attitudes towards gender politics. A race of giants has literally eaten almost all of humanity. 100 years before the time of the first episode when these titans originally appeared, the survivors all gathered in one place and built 3 massive walls to protect themselves. However, after a century of complacency, a titan bigger than anything they could have possibly imagined broke down the outermost wall, and the battle to prevent the total extinction of the human species resumed. As for the main plot of the story, of course, it's the standard formula which is common to almost all action anime. The hero, usually a young boy, starts out living a normal, tranquil life with his family, but longs for something more. In this case, to see the world outside of the walls. And having never learned to be careful what he wishes for, a sudden tragedy and or catastrophe either gives him the opportunity or compels him to do so. Thus begins the hero's journey as detailed by Joseph Campbell, joined by 1 or 2, in this case 2, companions, undergoing his rite of passage and growing into a hero, discovering the truth about himself and the world around him, discovering that he has some kind of special ability that makes him, quote, the chosen one, searching for a legendary treasure of some kind, usually a wealth of power or knowledge, in this case, the secrets that were locked in the cellar of his old house, which was destroyed during the initial Titan attack. And the other common themes in such anime include a dead mother, often compelling the hero to swear vengeance, and an absent father who must appear eventually because he is also conveniently the key to the entire sodding mystery. Of course, this was exactly the same basic formula that was used in what I regard as the greatest anime of all time, Fullmetal Alchemist. But as I will explain in my upcoming video praising the magnificence of its glory, that series went beyond the formula to explore deep and often disturbing aspects of humanity. The characters, the storylines, and the issues that they dealt with grabbed me by the eyeballs from the beginning of the very first episode and held me on the edge of my seat until the end of episode 51. And while people such as Watcher Azazel insist that when they discovered the truth about the treasure they were seeking, that should have been the end of the series, I believe that he was judging FMA strictly by the formulas I mentioned a moment ago, never opening his mind beyond that. I.e., hero needs to unlock forbidden secret to save the world and or achieve his goals. Secret unlocked, world saved, goals achieved, move along, nothing else to see here. However, reality simply doesn't work that way, so neither did Fullmetal Alchemist. As for Attack on Titan, on the other hand, although it could indeed pick up later, at this point there doesn't seem to be any greater depth, purpose or meaning to the story of any kind, because ultimately, as I mentioned before, when you strip away all of the window dressing, it's a zombie apocalypse story. Nothing more, nothing less. The survivors had already attempted to create an island, in inverted commas, where humanity could continue to exist, but now that small refuge is under attack. So when all is said and done, there are only 2 possible endings. Either A, humanity will be annihilated, or B, they'll defeat the Titans and reclaim the Earth. And considering that the whole motivation for the hero, beyond avenging the death of his mother, is to see and reclaim the world outside of the walls, it's pretty safe to assume where the story is going. Finally then, while I agree with my wonderful friend Lala that there is no sexism in this anime of any kind, as always the link to her channel is listed down as the underbar, and I ask everyone to please subscribe, that beyond the mandatory emotionally crippled Ice Queen, who is also a great fighter, the compassionate girl, the kooky girl, and a couple of other cliches, every character in this series is an individual, defined by who they are, not whether they have a Y chromosome. My response to this is, so what? Do you want a cookie or something? Call me an idealist if you wish, but I believe that at this stage of social evolution, not using sexist cliches and stereotypes, or any other kind of stereotype for that matter, should be the baseline, the absolute minimum for any writer, not something that's worthy of note or praise. For example, the portrayal of a gay relationship in the enjoyable but ultimately forgettable movie The Conrad Boys, also linked down as the underbar. No cliches, no stereotypes, and most importantly of all, no self-congratulatory backslapping because look at me, I'm portraying gay men as being no different from anyone else. Just a depiction of two people who fall in love, but then life gets in the way. Returning to Attack on Titan, however, I just want to stress that this anime is in no sense of the word bad. It's all very well written and animated, and if you're looking for a great action anime, then you could do a hell of a lot worse, specifically Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and New Fist of the North Star. Still not clean! Still not clean! But as for the likelihood of my panties flying off because Attack on Titan is so spectacularly awesome, you see, I've watched Fullmetal Alchemist. So, another formulaic action anime telling the old zombie apocalypse chestnut with an interesting new twist holds few thrills for me now.
And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.